good to see you all. Sawyer, we sure missed you this morning. I'm glad you were able to make it. I tried to send Mr. Robin to bring you, but it just didn't work out. All right, so today we are gonna be reviewing. Let me go ahead and show you again so you know where to find this. In your Google Classroom, under April, let's see, today is the 13th. You wanna go to the week of April 12th through the 16th. This is where you'll find what you need for today's lesson. Not quite yet, but eventually. So today's Tuesday, 12:45, right? It says ELA review. You'll see other stuff on mine. Yours won't have quite so much. Once you click on that, you'll see the Google Slides that I use and then the sign in for the test nav. So today we are reviewing and practicing. We're looking at reading, writing, and computer skills. We're hoping to get to all of that in the next couple days. We started yesterday, and you guys did such a great job with reading on your own and also following along with me. And today we're actually going to take some of that knowledge that we built. Finn, can I have whole body listening? That means you guys don't need your markers. You can put the lids on those. Thank you. We're going to take some of that knowledge. Abby, come here, hon. You can talk to me. And we're going to use it to help us in our writing. No, just sit for now. We'll get it when you need it, okay? All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about yesterday's reading and some of those questions you answered. We also want to make sure we review these strategies that we've been using in EL, and then talk about what went well and what was difficult. All right, so as we look at those technology tools, don't forget, as we are reading today, good readers, close readers, read small chunks to get the gist. You think about those words you don't know, don't just skip over them. The test will make you analyze it. Use the skills you've learned where you look at the root word and the affixes. You won't have access to a dictionary, so you're gonna have to use context and those other strategies of breaking the word apart to figure out what that word could mean. Go back to the text to find evidence for your answers. We talked about highlighting parts of the text. We'll look at doing that again. You have your EL spiral and your pencil in case you want to take some notes. We might be doing that today. You do have an opportunity to work with a partner or a small group to help you as well. Don't forget to read each question slowly and carefully, cover the answers and try to think of the answer yourself. Like, what would you say? And then see if there's one that is just like yours in the multiple choice. Cross off any answers that don't make sense. We showed you how to use the answer eliminator yesterday with the big red X. Look back in the text to find evidence for your answers. You can highlight it. Like I showed you, when you click on it, it'll pop up. You can do pink or, I think it was pink or blue for your highlighting. So today we will talk about writing. I'm going to come back to this because I don't want to fill your head with it yet until we get to that part. We talked about the scroll bars. There are two. Don't forget the arrow keys, the review. You can go find the answers that you've already done and the ones you still have to do, or the ones that you bookmarked. And don't forget your answer eliminator. That's what it will look like when you go to review. And that's what the answer eliminator looks like. So I'll do questions here in a minute. So when we go to the sign into test nav, yesterday we did the first story together about the wolves. When you click on the link, you will go to practice tests. It was under English language arts. It's already clicked. You just have to go to grade 3. And then we found that it was unit 2. We read the first one together. Remember, don't enter your name. You just hit start. And we looked at A Howling Success, how they introduced wolves back into Yellowstone National Park. And then we practiced all of our strategies. After that, I asked you to go up to number 5. You can get to it by clicking the review. And I asked you and your partner to read the missing links and then to answer the questions. You only had part A and part B, and then you had to do the Venn diagram where you compared a howling success to the missing links. It asked you to drag the sentence and put it either under a howling success, under the missing links, if it related to that, or under both. So some of you needed more time. Before I give you that time, I want to just share what went well yesterday in your short time with your partner and what was difficult with the tools, maybe something you learned. I know Jensen learned how to scroll in more than one way, and he was going to share that. Do you want to kick us off, Jensen? Because I'm guessing that's something that went well.
So, I'm not really sure how to describe it, but like the things on the right, you can scroll down with that.
Okay, so yeah, on the right here is a scroll bar. You can scroll there. You also have the scroll bar for the text. So that's what we said is 2. You can just put 2 fingers on your tickle pad and push up and down, and it will scroll by just taking, I always like to use 2 because 1 doesn't work.
There are actually 4 ways to scroll.
Did you want to share that, Jensen?
Sure.
What did you
So, one of them's on mouse, and I have a mouse. So, the third one is like the big thing below the space bar. You can use 2 fingers and like scroll down with that. And with the mouse, there's like this thing right here.
Okay, so we don't have the mouse here. So what he's talking is about what I just showed you, the tickle pad you can do. All right. Cole, what went well or what was difficult yesterday? Arrow keys can work as well. All right, Evie, what went well or what was difficult? Okay, so I'm giving you time today to finish. So that is something to think about though. When you are doing the park test or the map test, you do have to watch your time, right? It takes time. You have to persevere. If you get distracted by your own thoughts, you're going to have to fight that. You're going to have to really work on staying focused and watch that clock and see how much time you have so that you don't wander off in your mind. Yes, Sunny. Okay, so one of the tools in the toolbar right up here is for notes. So we wouldn't have needed that until probably today when we do the writing part. So this is a section where you could say things that are similar, which I don't want to do yet. So definitely can use the notepad, but no one's going to see that notepad. So if typing is hard for you, I would suggest you use your EL Spiral or your paper that you're given to jot down your notes if you can write faster. Because just like Evie said, it's easy to run out of time. Yes, Marin. Ryder, put that away. Put that away. I've said that already. Okay, so by being focused, you can get it done, but the goal is not to be done quick. Let's make sure we know that. We want to do quality versus quantity time-wise, right? We want to make sure it's good work, not just done. Noah, what went well or what was difficult? The words, so you had to use those strategies that close readers use. You have to break it down. You have to kind of think what other word would make sense in this sentence. And then that can help you figure out. That's what I do a lot, and that helps. Surname. Okay, so if you and your partners don't agree, then you have to kind of defend your point, right? You have to prove your answer. And that's a good opportunity to get a teacher to help, right? We could definitely help with that. Yes, Lila. Evie, put it down.
Write down what we thought of it, and then we would move on to the next paragraph.
Okay, so you will probably not have time to do that. That is what close readers do. I think if you could think about it in your head, okay, I just heard this. But to actually write down the gist for every paragraph, you will not have time to do that. So don't get in the habit of that for today's practice, okay? All right, here's what you're gonna do. If you and your partner did not finish doing the missing links and the questions and the Venn diagram, you're gonna work on that. If you did finish, watch where you're gonna go. You're gonna go ahead and stay in, I'm gonna probably have to get out. You'll go to that link in Google Classroom, sign in. So everybody watch this because it's a good review. Go to practice test. You're on English language arts. You can click it again if you want to make sure, grade 3. If you finished unit 2, don't click on unit 2. Instead, click on unit 1. And you and your partner are going to just read, practice, get the feel of answering those questions and practicing those reading skills. You'll read Johnny Chuck finds the best thing in the world. You might get to me first, which is the second story, but probably not. So just get to the first story, which is Johnny Chuck finds the best thing in the world, and answer those questions that go with it. So my suggestion is you stick with the same partner you had yesterday, because then you guys can see where you left off. If there's a problem with that, like a partner is absent, we'll deal with those problems as we go. All right, so you're gonna need your computers. I'll put you guys in breakout rooms so you guys can get started. Now, I think,
If you were in Mrs. Harrison's room with a partner, you could go ahead and come with me.
so Jensen, I think you're the only one that finished. Who was your partner?
Leo.
All right, Leo, I'm gonna put you guys together, okay? Since you guys finished, then Gavin, Sawyer, and Haley. You guys can finish from, did you finish, Haley? I don't think you had time. You guys can finish yesterday. Okay, Sawyer? Okay, all right, let me get your breakout rooms ready. All right, there you go. You guys can join your rooms. All right. Is there anyone who doesn't have a partner? Do you have a partner? Okay, what are you on?
I'm on I finished yesterday's stuff, but you told us not to go at 7.
Did you finish yesterday's too? Okay, you can join them. That works out great. Thank you, Max. I want you to try, we're gonna go over it, but if you guys are not getting along about it, I can definitely help you with that. Would you like me to help you with that? Okay,
Yeah. you're right.
Yeah.
After question 6, did you drive?
Okay. Yeah, then you can do unit 2.
So Peter Rabbit started down. I figured out the trick. So Peter Rabbit started down the stairs and started down, alone with a hat on the wood as he could go faster after Chip. Yeah, I know.
It was neat to see people kind of defend their positions on what they believed and how they knew what answer was correct. So I'm really proud of you for standing up for your thoughts and what you know is right. All right, so when we go back, let's see if I can go back here. This was Johnny Chuck. I don't want that one. I'm gonna leave. Let's go. Just go to that. Again, if you need to get back to it, you'll go to, this is always good to see, 12:45 for Tuesday. So we're gonna look at yesterday's reading. So some of you read about Johnny Chuck and you were on that second story, some of you. We're not going, that was for practice and to give some other people some time. So I hope it went well. But we're gonna look at the missing links real quick from yesterday. See how you did. And then we can see who was right and what mistakes we made and learn from them. You know, so that's the whole goal, right? So I'm gonna read and then we're gonna go and answer these. So the article is called The Missing Links and it's by Kathy Krenken. I'm gonna have to get used to using that scroll bar in the middle here. Meet the most endangered wild cat in the world, the Iberian lynx. Now, a lot of you struggled with that yesterday. I think you thought the I was an L, but it's actually a capital I. It just doesn't have the lines above and below it. But what was nice is there was a pronunciation key there that helped you. So I saw a lot of you using that. Iberian lynx. 100 years ago, thousands of these lynxes roamed Spain and nearby Portugal. That was another word that I saw kids struggle with yesterday. As long as you knew that Portugal was a place in Iberia, then I think it's okay if you couldn't pronounce it. You know what I mean? So if that happens to you, names are tough. Do your best and then just make sure you understand what the meaning is. Try to use the context. And here it tells me, Portugal, part of the region that makes up Iberia. Even if you said Liberia, it's okay. But by the 1990s, they were missing from almost the entire area. Fewer than 100 remained in the wild. There are a number of reasons Iberian lynxes have become so rare. One reason is that some of the land they need has been taken for farming and building. Another is that roads cut through the lynx's habitat, so the cats are sometimes hit by cars. Also, people illegally kill them. Now, it's important you read that ill at the beginning because that changes it from legal to not legal, right? Because that ill meaning not, so illegally killing them. That means you're not supposed to. But one of the biggest reasons the lynxes are disappearing has to do with their diet. These cats eat rabbits and little else. Unfortunately, in the last 60 years, rabbits in lynx areas have been almost wiped out by disease and hunting. As the rabbits disappeared, the lynxes have too. So this is really as much a story about missing rabbits as it is about missing lynxes. To save the lynxes, scientists have to help the rabbits. To help the lynxes, scientists came up with a plan to bring back the rabbits. They created rabbitats. The word is a cross between rabbit and habitats. In the rabbitats are artificial burrows, meaning not real, tubes that go underground in the way that real rabbits do. The scientists put fences around big areas containing the rabbitats. The fences were high enough to keep out rabbit predators, such as foxes, mongooses, and boars. But lynxes could easily jump over them. That meant they wouldn't have to compete with other predators for food. Finally, the scientists released more than 1,000 rabbits into the rabbitats. The rabbits had been given shots to protect them from disease. With fewer predators and with ready-made burrows to live in, the rabbits would be able to start breeding right away. Operation Lynx. Putting back the rabbits was one part of the puzzle. Putting back the lynxes was another. When scientists first saw how endangered the Iberian lynx had become, they took some wild lynxes and brought them to breeding centers. There, the animals could mate and have babies in safety. The goal was to have more lynxes to release back into the wild. Over the years, the lynxes in the breeding centers multiplied. Finally, it was time to release some of them, making lynxes welcome. But before that could happen, scientists needed to work with landowners to stop them from killing lynxes that came onto their properties. The landowners wanted to hunt the rabbits for themselves and didn't want the lynxes to get them first. Now, scientists have been able to convince many landowners to allow lynxes to live on their land. The scientists explained to the landowners that lynxes keep other rabbit predators out of their territory. That means there can still be plenty of rabbits for both the lynxes and the hunters. Once many landowners had agreed, the lynxes were released. Hope for the future. Woo. The lynxes, this is getting tough. I think I've got to use my other scroll bar. See how I did that? When it starts getting tough to scroll, you can't find it, use the sidebar on the right. The lynxes have adapted well to their new home and are even having lots of babies. In addition to releasing captive bred lynxes, scientists also moved some wild lynxes to new areas where there hadn't been any in a long time. After all these efforts to rescue the Iberian lynx, there is some good news. In the last 10 years, the lynx population has tripled, right? Triple, 3 times. Today, more than 300 lynx roam free. There is still a long way to go, but the hope is that these special cats are on the road to recovery. So when we look at our multiple choice questions, let's see how we did. The question is, what is the meaning of the phrase wiped out as it is used in paragraph 3 of the article, The Missing Lynx? Stand up if you and your partner said A, destroyed. Looking at home, Haley, where are you? Where'd you go? Are you standing or sitting? Did you and your partner say A, destroyed? Need you to give me whole body listening, Miss Calendar. Stand up if you said B, made very tired, is what wiped out means. Stand up if you said hidden. Stand up if you said pushed away. All right, so this is what we did, Serene and Elena and I. We went back to the text and it tells me paragraph 3. Remember, these numbers here are there for a reason. I can go right back to it. I'm going to go ahead and highlight where it says wiped out. In the last 60 years, I think I'll use, in the last 60 years, rabbits in lynx areas have been almost destroyed by disease and hunting. Would that work? Yes or no? Sure. In the last 60 years, rabbits in lynx areas have been made very tired by disease and hunting. Okay, so we could use our answer eliminator. Let's look at C, hidden. In the last 60 years, rabbits in lynx areas have been almost hidden by disease and hunting. Would that work? No, you're not going to hide. They're not going to be hidden because of disease. That's going to kill them, isn't it? In the last 60 years, rabbits in lynx areas have been almost pushed away by disease and hunting? No, what does it have to be? Destroyed, wiped out means they are gone. They're not just hidden or pushed away or tired. They are gone. They're wiped out. All right, part B, which word from paragraph 3 helps the reader understand the meaning of wiped out? Biggest, diet, disappeared, or areas? Now, if I go back to the text, I can see the second sentence where it says, as the rabbits disappeared, here, I'm going to put that in blue. As the rabbits disappeared, the lynxes have too. which means they're what? Destroyed. They are wiped out. They are gone. So I can go back to the text and I can find where the word diet is. There it is. I can find the word biggest. There it is. I can find the word areas. Yeah, disappeared. I already highlighted, right? So there's all the words they're talking about. Which one of those words, biggest, diet, disappeared, or areas, supports the fact that something's been destroyed? What do you think, Sunny? Disappeared, right? Should have said disappeared, because if something is gone, it could be wiped out or it could be destroyed. All right, so this was the next section where you had to compare the howling success to the missing links. And we were gonna use the dragging tool. So again, tomorrow, or when we take our test, Mrs. Harrison and I cannot tell you how to do this. We have to have faith, trust that you can read the directions and use that tool, right? So let's see. It's asking you to compare. If you read the directions, you'll know what to do. Some of you raised your hand yesterday. You didn't know what to do, but you didn't read. Compare ideas from both the howling success and the missing links. Drag the sentences and drop them into the Venn diagram. All the sentences will be used. Someone said to me yesterday, but wait, Mrs. Aben, there's 6 boxes and there's only 5 choices. If you ask us that, again, we can't talk to you. What are we going to tell you? If we could, we want to say what, Mrs. Harrison? Oh, well, do it. Just put in, it's okay. There's going to be a missing box.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. You're not going to fill them all. Okay?
And that might happen in a different situation as well. Just if you follow the directions, you'll be okay.
It's okay if there's a missing box. All right? So scientists wanted to help Yellowstone National Park by releasing more animals into the wild. What do you think, Josh? Does that go with a howling success, the missing links, or both? Does anyone disagree with that? Does anyone agree? Give me a thumbs up if you agree. I don't know where it went.
Right inside your Zoom.
Goodbye, Zoom. Let's put you here. So it's a little tricky. Once you unclick, it should pop in. It looks like everybody agrees. What were the key words that told you it just belonged to a howling success?
Because it said Yellowstone National Park.
Yeah, that was my clue as well, because it was specific, right? To just that article. All right. Scientists had to bring back enough smaller animals to help feed the larger animal population. Abby, which one do you think that goes in?
I think that goes in the missing link.
The missing links. Does anyone disagree? You do? Disagree? Why do you disagree, Abby?
I agree.
Oh, does anyone disagree? Everyone agrees? What's the key word, Abby, that helped you know that it would go in the missing links?
Feed the larger animal population.
So the lynx is the larger animal. What is the smaller? What are they?
Rabbits and bunnies.
The rabbits, yeah, right? So in the howling success, the elk ate the wolves ate the elk, which are the larger animal, but the wolf is smaller, right? So it doesn't apply to both. Did they have to bring in more elk for the wolves?
No.
No, they were already there. They already had too many elk. So that would make this one specific to the missing links. They're talking about the rabbits, right, and the lynx. All right, scientists first made sure that the animals were comfortable in their new surroundings and then set them free. Ellie, what do you think? And how do you know that's true?
Because it talks about setting them free
about moving and then to Yellowstone and letting them feel free again.
And in their, first they were in their pens, right? Remember, we had a whole question about that, about them getting comfortable, and then they let them go. Did the missing links talk about that?
No.
Did not. All right, scientists were able to keep track of the animal population and record how their numbers grew. What do you think, Logan? Both? Why do you think both?
Because both of them are able to, the scientists are helping to record and grow their numbers in both of them.
Exactly. There, we're seeing that the wolves are increasing, and we're seeing that the lynx are increasing, and scientists are doing all this work for that reason. All right. Scientists warned ranchers about hunting the endangered animals. What do you think? Yes.
The missing links,
Okay, because what were they doing?
trying to make sure that people aren't gonna hunt them.
Because they wanted the bunnies for themselves, didn't they? And then they wanted to kill them because they were eating the bunnies. All right. Fist to 5. How did you do? You and your partner. All right. So here's the next step. Looks pretty good. I'm glad we gave you more time today. I asked you yesterday not to do number 7, and we will work on this tomorrow, but I want to just get us thinking and prepared. So you're going to need your EL spiral. This was actually, some of you started this, and I noticed you only had a very little bit written. This is actually meant for an essay, like you would do an EL, that Mrs. Harrison's been having you practice all this time. So here's what I want you to just listen to, and then we're going to be taking some notes in our EL spiral. Okay, so it said, you read the articles, The Howling Success and the Missing Links. Think about the key details in each article that show how people can help animals. Write an essay comparing and contrasting the key details presented in the 2 articles about how endangered animals can be helped. Use specific details and examples from both articles to support your ideas. Now, this is supposed to be an essay. That's why we're not going to start it today. What I do want to show you, write an essay. I'm going to highlight what it's asking. An essay is not 1 paragraph, right? You guys know when we write essays in EL, we write like 4 paragraphs. So this is what they're expecting. And that means that you're going to have to know the similarities and differences about how endangered animals can be helped.
Okay, so right now.
So here's what I want you to do. I want you to get a clean sheet in your EL spiral. And we're going to do this together. And then you're going to have to dog ear. Pull your chair in for me, honey. Pull your chair in for me. You're going to have to dog ear or put a sticky note on it. Use it again tomorrow for our typing.
We want to know where it is for tomorrow. You're gonna need it.
Yeah, so if you need a sticky note, we can bring one by. But right now, I want to go ahead and have you do, there's 2 ways you could do this, but I think the best way, and I'm going to model it, is using a Venn diagram. So just like we completed on number 6, we're going to do a Venn diagram. How are these stories similar and different about how we can help endangered animals, right? So how people can help animals that are endangered. And I think I might try this color. So we have a howling success on one side. And then we have the missing links.
Can you go pretty quickly? Go quickly.
And this is both.
Okay, you should be copying what Mrs. Dobbins
So I'm
got
gonna
there.
make it bigger for you. So how, I wanna make sure we know, our topic is how people can help animals that are endangered. How can people, this is kind of like the question that will turn into our focus statement. How can people help animals that are endangered? That's the question, right? That's what the prompt is asking us. So I'm just going to go back and show you that. We'll come back to write an essay comparing and contrasting the key details presented in the two articles about how endangered animals can be helped. That's what we're trying to explain to our readers. And we got a lot of information on what scientists did to help the wolf and help the lynx. And so that's what we're going to take some notes on. Who can tell me one thing that the scientists did in a howling success to help wolves? Ellie.
They brought them back to their last habitat.
Okay, so they captured 14 wolves in Canada, right? They brought 14 wolves into Yellowstone National Park, brought 14 wolves from Canada to Yellowstone. And because we're just taking notes, I'm just gonna write that much. We could add more in our essay, right? We'll have the text in front of us. That's one thing they did to help increase the population of wolves. That was in 1995. I'm just gonna put 1995 here, because later, what did they do? Didn't they bring more? Do you remember how many? 17. Later, they brought 17. They brought 17 more wolves.
Now, is Mrs. Dobbins worrying about how to spell those words perfectly on her notes? No, right? We'll worry about that when we're doing the actual writing and revising. Don't worry about it on your notes.
Nobody's gonna see this.
Nope.
Anything on your scratch paper during the test will be shredded.
Yeah.
It's
Nobody's
just
gonna
for
see
you.
Just for you, so it doesn't matter if it's spelled correctly right now. It does at the end, but not right now, okay? Don't spend a lot of wasted time worrying about that.
All right, what about the missing links? What are some things that the scientists did to help the links? It wasn't as easy. They of just releasing them. They didn't have a food source, did they? There weren't elk. They didn't have, the elk were there for the wolves. They had an overpopulation of elk. So the food was already there in Yellowstone. But in the missing links, they needed something else. Elena, what did they need?
They needed the rabbit.
They needed rabbits. So scientists had to help rabbits to help the lynxes, right?
Get these notes down, my friends. You're gonna need them for tomorrow.
Scientists helped rabbits. Once they could help the rabbits, do you remember how many they ended up releasing? It was a lot.
Like baby 1,000.
Wow, what great
1,000.
readers. And I'm just gonna write released 1,000 rabbits. Trying to make it short and sweet. Released into the area. They also made a breeding center. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Wild Lynx's Breeding Center. Has it worked? Have their efforts worked?
Yes.
So both the gray wolves and the Iberian lynx have had their population do what? Grow. Is that a similarity? Yeah, right? In both of these stories, what did scientists do?
Help the endangered species.
Yeah, they had to capture them and do what to get them to grow? Put them into this new area, right? Where they'd be safe away from hunters and the predators that they would soon become part of the whole food chain, but in a safe area where they wouldn't get wiped out like before, where they'd have the food source that they need, like the rabbits. So in both stories, so now we know both animals. I'm trying to make it short. You can add detail when you do your writing tomorrow. Both animals have had their population increase. Increase. And in both stories, scientists had to capture and release endangered animals, right? Captured and released endangered animals. Now there are a lot more details than just that. I'm going to put a little line there. Can we turn the right light out? I think that.
I was thinking whether that was gonna help, and then I was thinking if there's any way to make it any bigger.
I always say that now. I want to go like this.
I know.
Even if yours is not exactly the same, if you've got some of those ideas. There are other things now today, 300 lynx roam free. You could add that. 70 years later, the wolves are back. There's a lot of things. You could talk about the rabbitats, right? That's a good one for this side, rabbitats. Can you think of anything else we didn't add that maybe you could add? Maybe people were killing wolves because they were afraid of them. Maybe the fact that people hunted rabbits. The lynx population has tripled. That's something you can add in your essay. So this is just a plan, a quick plan. If you spend 30 minutes on your plan, you're never going to have time to type a 4-paragraph essay, right? Does that make sense? And then nobody's going to see this. So yes, today we're spending some time on this, but you got to be real short and sweet on your plan and then spend most of your time typing. But I think if you don't plan, you might not know where to start.
And remember, it needs to be an organized essay, right? And when you're organized, if the plan helps you get organized, if you just start typing ideas, then they aren't necessarily in any sort of order, and it's just sort of just trying to dump your brain on a piece of paper, and that's not going to come out as clear as if you at least organize your ideas ahead of time.
And when you see the words compare and contrast, you know, Josh, that's a Venn diagram. You might do a web. Do you guys remember the spider webs where you put your ideas for a different type of essay? You might use a T-chart for a different type of essay. But if you hear the words compare, contrast. You know they're going to have similarities. The Venn diagram is perfect. It's my favorite for that. I also like the web where you put, if you're just brainstorming about one topic. Yeah, or maybe if you have two topics here, you can do this side is this and this side is that. But for today's question, how can people help animals that are endangered? Well, this is what scientists did here to help the wolves. This is what scientists did here to help the missing the lynx. And then here are their strategies. All right, show me on your fingers if you need 1 more minute or 0. I've got some ones. So tomorrow, what we will do is go back to that test. You're gonna actually feel what it feels like to type onto that small little page and how to use those tools. We're gonna spend all our time on that tomorrow and see how we do. So what will you need tomorrow? You're gonna need this plan. So if you're not finished with the plan, continue writing.
Everybody has a sticky note.
Excellent, excellent. Good work today. I'm proud of you. Way to persevere. If you are finished, you may go back to Mrs. Harrison's room. If you are finished at home, you may exit the meeting and I'll see you for math. If you need more time, you can continue writing. We'll get some recess, Ryder, and then your legs will feel better. Okay, go ahead. Yes, Jensen.
Are we gonna be needing something for that essay tomorrow? Like that
Yeah,
we're
you're
writing?
this sheet. That's
Okay.
EL spiral. If you don't have this, you won't be able to do it. So yes, you need to have this written. That's what we're doing, right?
Miss Auburn,
Hi,
I went to a wolf sanctuary.
you did? That's so neat. I would enjoy that. Did you?
Yeah, there's so much. We even saw fox.